Hello everyone, welcome back to another cast video.
The purpose of this video is to help high school students like myself or families to learn more about certain post-secondary institutions in Canada. My name is Julia and I am a grade 12 student that currently resides in Toronto. Today's topic will be about Queensland University, and we have a special guest that currently attends the university to tell us more about it. Can you introduce yourself for us, Faizan?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Faizan, and I'm a fourth-year student at Western University doing a dual degree with business and health sciences. I originally live in Mississauga, so I lived away from home throughout my 4 years, and I didn't live on residence. I lived off campus just because it was a lot cheaper, and I think you get to learn a lot by living by yourself, and that's a little bit about me.
Oh, great to hear from you today. So we'll get straight into the questions. So my first question for you is, what are some things that you wish you knew more about university before you actually got into it? Whether it's the research progress or just browsing on their website.
Sure. I think for me, one of the biggest things was getting a more comprehensive understanding of what's available out there after you graduate, because I was initially thinking of going into the sciences. And so the only thing that was on my mind was like research or medical school. But in reality, there's a lot more opportunities out there. So I think understanding what's beyond the 4 years can help high school students make a much better decision when they're researching what programs and what universities to get into.
Right, definitely, because from a high school student perspective, it can certainly be difficult for some of us to decide between universities and if we don't know what we want after.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, personally for you, what are some services or programs that you use specifically to help you as a student?
Sure. I think one of the things that I use on a recurring basis is the rec center, or I guess you could call it the gym. And it's a massive facility. I think it's more than 100,000 square feet. It has everything. It has swimming pools, basketball courts, tennis, everything. And so I usually use it for working out and playing sports. And I think it's a great break from classes. And I think it's a really good opportunity for you to join intramurals, make new friends, meet new people, and just kind of take care of your physical and mental health. So that's one of the resources that I use even now. I think apart from that, there's a student services building that is quite nice, and it usually has different sorts of web workshops and things like that to help people navigate certain areas. So they have things for resume building, they have things for how to get a job, how to interview properly. So they have those resources available for students. I think in that building they also have mental health resources. So if you want to see like trained therapists, if you're going through some mental health issues, you can do that as well. And I think it's part of your student plan. So I think you don't have to pay for it. And I think lastly, clubs on campus. There's I think more than like 200 or something clubs. So whatever you're interested in, you'll probably find it, and you'll probably find like-minded people that you can get along with. So I think those three are the three that come to mind when it comes to resources on campus.
Wow, that's quite amazing to hear, especially when you're a first year just getting into the university. That sounds very reassuring and sounds great. And for you, as the university student right now, what are 3 tips you can kind of give to high school students like myself so that they can pursue post-secondary education and perhaps help them improve their experience?
Sure. I think the first thing I'll mention, which is sort of linked to understanding the opportunities out there, is just talking to people and networking, because you'll be surprised. Like from your point of view, you might think like, oh, if I try to get in touch with this person, they might not respond, or maybe they'll say no. But in reality, a lot of people are out there that are just willing to help you. And even if they say no, you don't really lose anything. So I would say really talk to people and get an understanding of what's out there, people who are in the program, people who have graduated from the program, just so you can see what are the potential areas you can see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years. I think is very important. I think secondly is in high school, first of all, you have a reduced course load. You're only taking 4 courses per semester, and in university, typically it's 5 and sometimes 6. And so time management is extremely important, because you can often spend all your times in studying and not take care of your mental health, not have friends. So I think time management and having a more holistic schedule is definitely important. And I think lastly, I feel like some people will say grades don't matter at all, and some people say it matters too much. I feel like there's a bit of a spectrum there. I think they matter to some degree. They are important because in my own experience, they have opened up a lot of opportunities in terms of jobs, scholarships, and whatnot. But it's not so important where you have to kill yourself and sacrifice, going out with friends or, playing sports or whatever. So I think whatever important means to you, understand that and be balanced in what you do.
Those are really good tips. Like especially for people who are very nervous and are like getting the high marks, but they're putting themselves at risk of stress and mental health issues. And for you, what do you think are like the best places just to like chill at Western? When we're speaking about boxing and we have to somehow get out there sometimes, not just focusing on academics only. What do you like best about Western?
Yeah, so I think for me, I'm really into sports and fitness. So some of the ways that I relax, as I mentioned earlier, were just going to the rec center, playing some soccer, working out, and whatnot. And just through that, I got to actually make a lot of friends. And if you're not looking to do that, there's a lot of like restaurants and bars and all of those things around London. And after an exam, you can go there with your friends, just kind of hang out a little bit. So there's that if you're into that. And I think lastly, as I mentioned, clubs are super important because, like I said, there's so many clubs and all these clubs are really active. So chances are they'll have an event at least once every 2-3 weeks. And so if you have time, you can attend those and you can kind of get your mind off things, meet new people. So I think, yeah, within campus, there's clubs. Outside of campus, there's restaurants and bars. And then there's whatever you're interested in, you'll find people through that and just relax.
Cool. And now that you're done sort of talking about Western, and with my own question, do you have other things or tips you want to share?
Yeah, honestly, I'll just reiterate the point that I mentioned earlier with respect to talking to people, because that's something I was fortunate enough to do when I was choosing universities, and I was debating between Western, Waterloo, York, and like a bunch of other universities. So just talking to people, because on paper they all look good, right? But when you talk to people, you get an understanding of what the program's like, how the program culture is. I think that's quite important. Because you'll be surprised how competitive some programs are, and some people aren't built for that. Some programs are smaller than others, so some people like that. So I think just talking to people and getting a insider's perspective as to what you're getting yourself into is extremely important, because it is time taking, but it'll help you make a informed decision that you won't regret after.
It's very important for us to know and for everyone to know before they certainly go into a university or help them with the decision making.
Exactly.
So thank you for your valuable insight and for your experience. And that's all the time we have for today. If you have any questions, be sure to contact any of our student classes in the link down in the description. Thank you, Faizan, for sharing your experience and your tips for sure. And thank you guys for watching.